After 3 years of development, the folks at Interplay are finally ready to talk about their forthcoming role-playing epic, Stonekeep. Recently, we had the opportunity to speak with Mike Quarles and Chris Taylor from the production team. With Stonekeep, the designers set out to create a unique RPG experience. Mike Quarles explains.
I want the person to really feel like they're there. And I felt a lot of the games didn't do that. Most of the time you mucked around with the interface. You change into this mode, you change into the get mode, you change into the eat mode, you change into the combat mode, and we wanted to do away with all of that.
The interface has been designed for maximum ease of use and minimum disruption of the fiction. Your view is full screen with few fixed objects to distract you.
We wanted to maintain a full screen dungeon. We didn't want to switch to other screens to equip the person. We didn't want to have little icons. We didn't want to have anything there that reminded you of a computer. We wanted to actually put the clothes on the guy, put the weapon in his hand.
As in any RPG, you'll spend a lot of time fighting things. Since Stonekeep maintains the same view at all times, this necessitates first-person, real-time combat. The designers have taken care, however, to avoid the pitfalls into which other RPGs have fallen.
We've taken a lot of adventure game elements and a lot of, not arcade game, it's not really an arcade game, but there is real-time combat, but it's handled in a nice, unobtrusive manner. It's not forcing you to just pound the keyboard, which a lot of RPGers hate.
To create this experience, the designers decided the game needed an excellent story. Professional screenwriters were brought in to write the script, which tells the story of a young man's search for justice.
Storyline is you play a hero called Drake. Many years before the start of the game, your city, your village is destroyed by this darkness, this malevolent force. And you've returned to the destruction to see what happened, to see what you can find. And one of the lost goddesses of this planet, we've got this whole backstory that probably be a little too involved to go into here, but this lost goddess comes up and says that you have to do this task for her. You have to free her brothers and sisters, and she takes you down into this darkness, this pit of darkness that the lost city of Stonekeep is. And to do that, she takes your soul out of your body and sends you on this quest, and it's pretty involved. But that's not the full story. That's not exactly what's going on. And as you play the game, the real story comes out, why this happened, and why are these people doing what they're doing.
Today, we would take the 3D rendered dungeon interior for granted, but in the early days of the project, the technology to create the artwork simply didn't exist.
We first wanted to make the backgrounds look more realistic than Bard's Tale, which was my first project at Interplay. We wanted to do something that was more mathematically accurate, so we looked into AutoCAD to get the bones, you would say, of it, the skeleton of it. And somebody said, well, there are these rendering packages just starting to come out. Why don't you try some of those?
Rendering wasn't good enough to create the monsters at the time, however, so the designers had to resort to more creative methods to design them.
Our first attempt was a skeleton. We wanted a skeleton for an RPG. We were still working on design. We weren't quite sure what creatures were going to be in it, but we knew we had to have a skeleton. So we bought a skeleton. Lucy, as our lead artist calls it. We bought it, we created a blue suit, and since he was so attached to Lucy, we decided to mount Lucy onto him.
Given all the energy invested in making Stonekeep look good, it only makes sense that careful attention was devoted to making it sound good as well. The game features over 600 sound effects and professional voice acting and direction by some people you might have heard of.
We decided at one point in the game to have one voice director do most of the game, and there's this one level in the game which is made up of fairies, and we wanted the fairies to be totally different, so we went to a completely different voice director, a guy who does a lot of work for Disney, and had him do that level on his own, and it really worked out.
Smurfs on crack.
Yeah.
Interplay is betting on a big hit with Stonekeep. With state-of-the-art graphics and gameplay backed by an involving story, the plan is that it will revolutionize and revitalize the RPG genre. Right now, the game is fairly complete. The developers are merely polishing. Will such attention to detail pay off? We'll see in September when Stonekeep hits the store shelves.